I think we're back.
We're back.
Skills Pay Bills, episode 6.
You're keeping track.
Right? This is the new episode.
Yeah.
We're here. We're still here.
Yeah.
And we're ready for What's Up.
Yeah.
What's Up? That's our first segment. You know, no small talk. We get right into it. We have a plan today.
Yeah.
And what are we talking about today, Claudia?
Roles. Not these, the ones that you fucking could hold on to, but the roles in our like how we work.
Damn, right?
I got jokes.
Right?
But yeah, like the roles that we play in the business, because it's like I feel like a lot of people see me and they are seeing like how I'm on like the time lapses, how I'm explaining the things and stuff like that. But I don't think people know that you're there too.
Because we've been doing the Sew Loka thing officially as a team for about 1 year now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So last December, you know, I basically joined Sew Loka full time.
Yeah.
And we kind of had to figure out on the go how to make this work and how to like divvy up the roles, what's our strengths, what's our weaknesses. And we're definitely still figuring that out as we go.
Yeah.
But where are we today? Like what are we doing today?
So, I mean, having like that, you know, the experiences of other like teamwork things that I've done like in the past, like one of the biggest mistakes that I made, like having worked with other people, is basically wanting to mold them into something that they're not strong with, you know, like obviously like realizing what your strong points, what my strong points, and like utilizing those things in the things that the business needs has obviously been something that has really worked for us, you know? And so I feel like a lot of people know that I sew and that I make everything and that I'm here in the shop and that when you come and see us, like during the week when we're open, that you're going to get to see me. But it's like people usually don't get to see you because you do all that stuff that I'm not good at. Like all the descriptions, all the, you know, all that kind of stuff where it's like, I could truly admit I cannot write a good email. And, you know, and that's not my strong point. My strong point is obviously like sewing, you know, talking to people, doing all that kind of stuff. But my strong point isn't like that back end, you know. And I feel like with the back end, like the social media, the website, all that kind of stuff, it makes like a huge deal to like running the business.
And just so everybody knows, like when I came to join the team last year, like I have no prior experience with website. I didn't have an Instagram page. So there's no prior experience with social media or anything like that. So it's like just basically filling in those roles and just figuring it out as we go.
Exactly.
You know, and say with social media, like I obviously still haven't figured that out. The only thing I figured out about social media is to always keep it active in some way.
Exactly.
You know, but haven't really figured out what hashtags to use or any kind of these tips or tricks. Like we're definitely figuring that out. But the one thing that I've seen that has worked over time is just basically
visibility.
Exactly. Just keeping it active, never letting it go dark.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. But there was no previous experience, but we just kind of, it's so hard to do all the sewing like you do and then also maintain a social media page and respond to everybody and share everybody's stuff and make sure you're liking everybody's thing and all that stuff. That's a huge job in itself.
Yeah.
It takes up so much time.
Well, you know, we do this like, I feel like with the business, it's not like, okay, it's 5 o'clock, we leave. You know, it's like, yeah, we might leave like the physical shop, but it's like there's so many things where it's like we have to respond to emails. We have to, you know, make sure that we're responding to like our social media accounts, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's like it really doesn't end, you know, and it's like we do have like those moments where we're like, okay, you know, we're done with that kind of stuff. Like, let's have normal house stuff where it's like we sit down, we cook, we have dinner, we're, you know, watching something, all that kind of stuff. But it's like it's really we're constantly about the business because it's like we're passionate about it. This is something where it's like we're trying to have like generational wealth, you know. So
but the tricky thing that I think we're still trying to figure out is sometimes like being a good business partner is not being a good romantic partner kind of thing, you know, like you have to find that balance. And it's like you might want to say something that could help the business, but then you're like, oh, I still want to have like a good relationship tonight. I don't want to fucking fight and all this stuff. And we've also learned that if we're working together, if we are getting in little arguments about little stuff like that, that could put us behind like 2 or 3 days. Yeah. So we've kind of had to figure out how to get thicker skin about stuff, and also how to just be kinder to each other, because we have to work with each other too. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that, like, I feel like in the beginning when we just recently like merged, then we were like, you know, we didn't understand like the roles, and we didn't know like, what are you doing? What am I doing? Like, it kind of felt like we were both like, what are you doing today? What am I doing? And then you had expectations of me, I had expectations of you, and nothing was being communicated. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I'm really like a good communicator based off of how I was like raised. So it's like I'm really trying to work on all that kind of stuff, you know? And so having something like that where it's like you're in a romantic relationship with someone, but then they're also your business partner, and they want like the best, because it's like at the end of the day, it's like no one wants to fight over financial shit. Mm-hmm. That's like, I feel like for me, like I've never had to deal with anything like that. So it's like, I don't want to deal with it now, but it's like, it is something where it's like, you have to be super conscious that that is something where it's like, it's in the business, you know, and being able to divide them where it's like, you're not taking it personal in that sense, you know?
And that's a big part of it, right?
Exactly.
Just kind of being able to get over things a lot quicker.
Exactly.
You know, I think before we would have like an argument, I'd stew about it for days and everything like that. But it's because I had my own job and this and that. But now we don't have that same luxury to be mad about things for that long. Yeah. Like, it directly affects our business. So it's just been trying to figure that over last year, and we're nowhere near figuring that out. But that's kind of what we're in the process of in. And just basically defining our roles. Yeah. You know?
I feel like during the week, it's like, you know, it's like Mondays are my days off, you know, where it's like I'm off. I don't think I'm ever off. You know, I don't ever feel like I actually have like a full day off, but it's like Mondays are a day off to where it's like we kind of like just freestyle it. Like, if we want to go and run around and do this, we can, you know, because it's like we don't have obligations in the shop, you know, but it's like we can do those kind of things. But it's like Mondays are my favorite days, because it's like we sit down, we have a couple of bong hits, we relax a little bit, you're like, oh, okay, you know, and we just basically throw out all the ideas that we've been wanting to create. We've been wanting to, like, you know, what we have in the studio, what's inspiring us at that time, with all that kind of stuff, and we throw it out there, and then we kind of mesh it all together as a team, and you have your input about certain things where it's like it's totally different perspective, which I appreciate, because it's like me just having like my own perspective, it only feeds the ego, but it's like having someone else's perspective obviously, you know, creates something that people could really attach themselves to, you know?
We didn't always have those Monday meetings. That's something within the last 3 months that we figured out that we needed.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. Because the week without that planning session, and each day you're waking up and it's like, oh, what are we doing today? Like, we figured that was a really bad place to be in. Whereas if we woke up and we're like, Tuesday, we already knew what our roles were. We knew what we had to do because we pre-planned it on Monday. It just seems like our weeks go by so much smoother. We're getting along a lot more. We're not under that much pressure, you know? And we have a plan, but then we're also, it's not like a stringent plan. Exactly. It's like, this is kind of a layout, but we also have time to adjust if we need to too.
Exactly, yeah. And so during the week, like, obviously, like, Mondays are like our day to kind of like just hash everything out. And then another big day during the week is like on a Wednesday. Like, Wednesday, we're making sure everything for that drop on Friday is, we have everything. We have like every single supply for that. Like, everything's cut, everything's ready. And then that's where we start to produce content for that drop, you know, where it's like, okay, like, are we doing a time lapse? What are we doing? Like, how are we going to execute this? Do we need this? Where are we going to get it from? All that kind of stuff. There's a lot that goes into like a drop. It's not just like, you know, the time lapse where it makes it look all easy and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, it is like, what's the inside going to look like? What's this, that, all that. So,
and documenting that, it basically, it makes the drop even more powerful.
Exactly.
You know, it's not, it takes it out of, okay, this is just a clothing object that we're dropping. You know, it basically gives it that 3-dimensional world of like, you see it being made. Sometimes we even film the process of talking about it and planning it out and stuff like that. The story behind it. You know, anybody, like I said, when they buy that, a purse or something from that drop, they can look at that Instagram date and look at that post, and they can pretty much see how that bag was created. Yeah. From like inception to like sale kind of thing. Yeah. So it really does, that content part of it, which I think a lot of people are hesitant to do because social media, I mean, it does have that toxic side to it too, you know, but it gives us that power to basically communicate that product to people, you know, to show the behind the scenes and to create a story around the product, which allows people to feel something.
Yeah. I feel like in the beginning, like even before we even started to kind of like do like our own personal designs, like pre-pandemic, I remember someone saying like, why would you show people how to do it? And to me, I was like, I've been sewing since I was 8 years old. Like I'm so fortunate to have like all those years where it's like I've challenged myself with like the tailoring, the custom sewing, all that kind of stuff, where it's like those were challenges. Like I was like, I've never done that, but I'm sure I could do it and I'll figure it out, you know? So it's like having like those moments of like the constant challenges like really got me ready for wanting to like even challenge myself now in like my own personal designs. And to me, like I don't see like someone seeing me how it's done a threat.
No.
It's more of an inspiration. Like, I want you to be inspired. Like, I'm not special in any kind of way where it's like I have magical fingers or anything.
We're showing value to the sewing process because for so long they're just promoting the shirt or they're promoting the shoes or they're promoting the brand.
Yeah.
You know, but they're not showing how that was made.
Exactly.
Because it was a dirty secret that they're basically outsourcing it to paying people, you know, low wages to create that. So they don't want to really talk about the sewing part. A lot of brands don't want to even mention that. Well, we want to talk about that.
We want to talk about that because it's like you could see, like, you know, any day during the week that you come in, you're most likely going to see me sitting down on the sewing machine and sewing, you know, and I love doing that. Not because it's like it kind of makes me hide a little bit because it's like I'm doing something and it's like people are really interested and intrigued and I could feel them like watching like what I'm doing. And I like that. I like that people get to see something that like usually you don't get to see. Like a lot of these big brands, they would be fucking so bad for them to show their working conditions and where things are being made.
Exactly.
We want you to see
We want you to see that part. That's other people's dirty little secret, but we want you to see it, that we make everything here. That's what sets Sew Loka apart.
Yeah. And like the studio is like open to where it's like we have music playing. It's a good vibe, you know. It's like it's a good place to come to get inspired to like, you know, feel like you're like, oh my God, like I think that at some point people have always wanted to be designers and everyone's always had that dream of like, I would like to design my own, you know. So it's like when they walk in here and they see all the fabric and they're able to touch it and everything's organized the way that it is, people have like that sense of like being inspired and wanting to be like, oh my God, I could imagine myself in here cutting fabric or whatever the hell it is, you know. And
that's why what we do, I think, fits so well with that video aspect that we're offering.
Exactly.
Because I do think that's another thing that sets Sew Loka apart. You know, a lot of people have Instagram, a lot of people have Reels and stuff like that, but we have from the very beginning put like a high importance on video.
Yeah. I've always like, for me, like I grew up with like my dad having like that old school like on the shoulder like huge freaking camera, and he would be like, hey, quieren mandar saludos a Mexico, and you're like, okay, you know. So there was always like a camera in our face when we were growing up, you know, where it's like Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthday party, you know, he always had something there. So it's like for me it's like being able to document like that and like where it's on film and you're seeing it, like I love that. Like I want for there to be like, oh, my grandma did this and, you know, she was this or she was that. But it's like also the value of what video brings. Like, what could you say? What could you do? Like the emotion that it's capturing. It's
exactly.
Important. 100%. We see a lot of value in that.
100%. And not to always bring everything back to cannabis, but we were having a discussion one day and it's like, oh my God, you know, people are buying cannabis in droves. They love it. They're always, you know, it's a big business. But why do they? We broke it down like, why do people buy cannabis in that amount? And it's because it makes them feel something. Mm-hmm. Whatever you have, however you feel about the feeling or whatever, you can literally buy that and it's going to make you feel something, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we transform that over to clothing or to what you do?
Yeah.
And the thing is that video allows us to storytell.
Exactly.
You know, and when you tell a good story about a product, you can make someone feel something.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like, we're just trying to figure out different ways to make clothing feel like weed.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it also is like the whole thing where it's like you've like have been into like movies and all that kind of stuff since you were a kid. Like that's what you bonded over with like your parents, and like you could name directors and you could name actors and stuff.
I went to film school.
You went to film school. You know, for me, I'm like, by the age of like 8 or 9, I couldn't sit still and watch a movie. You know, like I became too anxious, you know, so it's like I enjoy like movies and stuff like that, but only if it's like a good movie, and like, you know, good movies. So I'm like, okay, cool. But it is one of those things where it's like, we know that it brings a lot of value. And it's like, when you ask someone, oh, you know, what are you wearing? And they're like, oh, I'm wearing Zara. That's it. I'm wearing fucking H&M. That's it. Oh, I'm wearing fucking, you know, this shit or whatever. And it's like, that's it.
Story's over.
There's no like, hey, you know what? This girl, she freaking makes her stuff, and she is in blah blah blah, and she's, you know, a sustainable brand, and dude, she's fucking crazy, she does like this shit, you know. And there's more to it, like you want to like have it to where it's like there's pride behind that, you know. And the good thing is that like people are finally waking up and saying, I want to have a connection with like where my clothes is from, because we've woken up from like eating all kinds of crap, and they're like, all of a sudden everyone's like, I want to know where my food is coming from. I want to know where this is coming from. And the one thing that we're constantly always wearing, which is clothes, for us to have that gigantic disconnection is insane, you know. And it's like, I grew up where my parents like would make our clothes, where, you know, and I was embarrassed by that, you know. I just kind of thought, we're fucking poor. This is what happens
if you go thrifting, basically,
you know. And if you go thrifting, like no one knew I was like thrifting in middle school. No one knew I was thrifting in high school, because there was so much of that stigma of like, you're poor, like your parents can't afford anything, and you go to the thrift store and you have to like buy stuff there. But in all reality, I had the best style than any of these kids that were shopping at Hot Topic, Red Zone, all that kind of stuff. And because they all, in all reality, they look like an alternative. You know, they had this alternative look, but they were this exact same thing as like these kids that were shopping at Forever 21, except that they were wearing the same shit, just a little bit different, you know. So it is one of those things where, you know,
it's changing though, because I know when we go to the thrift stores now, who do we see?
Fucking a bunch of fucking hipsters.
Bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It is good. It is good. And, you know, you want people to be aware of like, hey, you know what? I could go to this thrift store and I could see like the potential of this, and then be like, dude, that's great. Like, that's awesome. Like, see the potential in that. Cut it up. Do something to it. Like, there's so much clothes being produced all the freaking time, and they end up at thrift stores like all the freaking time. And there's just that constant, like, you know, where more and more and more and more and more is being dropped off there. And even that, like, I feel like a lot of people haven't really, like, they're like, oh, yeah, but I'm donating it, so it's fine. And it's like, you shouldn't be buying, like, all this, you know, because it's like Forever 21 has, like, 36, like, different new styles a year.
Just because you donate it doesn't mean it's all going to be bought. It goes to a landfill somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
But getting back to the videos thing, I also want to let people know, like, the videos are a collaboration.
Yeah.
Because even, like, the videos we've done, one of the recent videos we did with Loka's in the Wild, you know, that was your fully formed idea.
Yeah.
That you basically just brought to me.
Yeah.
We brainstormed a little bit of how to actually figure out the logistics of filming it. But these are ideas that spring up from your brain. You bring them to me, and we figure out how to film it.
Yeah. So it was like one of those things where I was like, you know, it would be really cool to, because we get a lot of like pictures of like, you know, people out like wearing their Sew Loka gear, and that like makes me feel like giddy, and like just kind of like, it's such a good feeling, you know. You're like, I'm not worth it, you know. But it just feels so good to see that when people are like sharing that with you, and you're just kind of like, God, like that's awesome, you know. But we wanted to like kind of like how we feel when we see it out, like where we're kind of like tiptoeing, and we're just kind of like, oh my God, and like we're, you know, that kind of like feeling, you know. So it was one of those things where, you know, we were just kind of like one day, and I was like, hey, you know, and I could hide like behind this table like this, and and it just kind of like started like forming a little bit more. And, you know, the good thing is we had a couple of girlfriends that were totally down to like be filmed, and it just, we just did it, and we got a lot of really good feedback. And
but the cool part that we take it to like a little bit of extra level is that we sat down and we watched all those Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter. Like I almost watched all of his shows in the 90s, and I was like, wow, these are fucking good. I got hooked on it again. I was like, he's fucking amazing,
was great.
Ballsy as hell. So it's like, but then we kind of took music cues from his thing and how he kind of edited it and stuff like that, and we tried to incorporate it in the video. So it felt like you were watching like a parody of a Steve Irwin video, but not a parody where we're making fun of him, a parody like with ultimate respect for him kind of thing. But it was super funny.
Yeah. It was a lot of like fun. So yeah. Do we have someone in the
Oh, what was that? The green room? Doorbell?
I'm here.
Is that Dent Lock?
Ooh.
Oh.
Right on time.
Who's doing the first Dent Lock question? You wanna start the Dent Lock interview?
Sure.
Oh, it still says broken heart on there, but
yeah, but it is very like we're excited to have Dent Lock because we recently had discovered him from
there he is.
What's up?
What's up?
How you doing?
Yeah.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Good.
Good.
Just here hanging out.
Can you see us?
That's good. Yeah, I'm excited.
We are too.
I can see you now.
We're waiting for your visual to come up. It always takes a couple of seconds, but you can hear us though, right? So that's good.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm on time now. I'm in on time, right?
Yeah. This is perfect. This is perfect. Did you want to start with the intro?
Yes.
Maybe?
Look at you.
Hell yeah.
Damn, got a haircut, shaved, everything.
Shit.
I had to. Man, I don't grow beard, so I don't even care.
So let's start it off, Claudia.
Oh, so just a couple of questions. I was super intrigued by that mural that you did by the in the alley, and I was like super intrigued by it because it was quick. Like you went in there, you did it super quick, and I was like, whoa, now we have art, like new art. So how did that come about?
Well, I did that painting. So my idea was to show the history of the hummingbird.
Nice.
And its relation with the Mexicas and the Mictlan. And so I went on the Facebook Logan page.
Yeah.
And I asked, hey, I need a wall. I want to paint this. And, the owner of the house messaged me and told me, like, I went to meet him. And he pretty much just gave me the wall. He gave me freedom on what I could do there.
Awesome.
And I just went ham. I already had the idea visualized in my head. I knew how I wanted to look. The vision was there. I just needed to execute it.
Dude, and it came out so good.
I thank you.
Yeah.
It was a struggle because if you notice, it has like an extra indent. It has the second wall on the bottom.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So it's kind of like a little bit between. And I had to keep running from back to all the way to the corner to give a look, make sure it looks good from far away, and then come close. I'm like, that was a struggle, but a good cardio.
Was that your first wall?
No, that's my third wall.
Oh, okay. Where else?
Yeah, so
where
my
else
first
can
one
we?
was inside Border X.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that Coatlique de Tonantzin.
Uh-huh.
I tried to do a mixture between the Virgin Mary and Tonantzin.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that was you.
So I figured that way I could show people that are woke and know about the actual Mexica history, and then people that just follow regular Mexican culture and the Virgin Maria, the Virgin de Guadalupe.
Wow.
Super cool.
That's freaking awesome.
And how does somebody get to do a mural inside of Border X? How did that happen?
I believe in thinking of like speaking things into existence.
Yeah.
And so right here at the shop, one of my clients, she happens to be a bartender. She used to be, I don't know if she still does, but she was a bartender at Torn Brewery. And she's friends with the owners of Border X. And so when Border X decided to do a growler event for like a paint event, she messaged me. She's like, "Hey, they're having an event. You should come buy the bottle and then do your artwork and submit it." So I did. You know, I did this painting of a skeleton, like all drunk and shit, like next to it with a
Yeah,
bunch
yeah.
of
Yeah.
tequila bottles and all that. And so I took it in, and when I was there, she introduced me to the owners. And when I was talking to them, I told them I wanted to do murals. And so the owner, I forgot her name right now, I'm brain farting, but she told me like, "Hey, we have a wall in the back. Would you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, it's just presented opportunity presented itself, and I took it."
Dude, that's so
And I
awesome.
said, took me 2 days too.
Nice.
Wow. Dude, I feel like you're such an interesting artist because you're doing like murals and you also tattoo, which makes it to where
Yeah.
you're doing like these two super creative things where it's like they involve like drawing and art and all that, but it's like they're totally different mediums. One of them is like a skin and then the other one is like a wall. So I felt like I was like, wow, he's so well rounded in that sense, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to keep it's called like diverse, you know, like
Yeah.
as an art tattoo artist, when I was an apprentice, me and my mentor jumped from shop to shop, and I was introduced to many different styles of tattoo. You know, and I was introduced into the basics. And being the apprentice, the bottom of the food chain, I had to do everybody's stencils. I had to do every prep work. You know, so being able to do that for this artist, it showed me the basics of almost everything.
Nice.
And you know, my background was I was like graffiti and writing, and like I always want to do murals. That was part of my idea,
Yeah.
you know. But I focused for it's been 12 years
Yeah.
straight on tattooing. It's
Wow.
just tattooing, 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 tattooing. On the sides, I've always done painting. When I was an apprentice, my mentor didn't let me tattoo until I had a bunch of watercolor paintings. He's like, you need to do watercolor paintings. You need to get this down. He showed me how to do spit shading. He showed me how to do the watercolor. And so that, you know, that just started more and more into like painting itself. And
Nice.
now that I managed to set myself on a tattoo in the tattoo industry, I want to venture off more into muralist, you know, like the art itself.
And how did you learn how to work with the murals? How did you learn how to finish it so quickly?
Uh, Scientific method, trial and error. You know, it's paint. You know, like, I think with tattooing, I gotta be so precise and
Yeah.
on point. I can't mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
I get one shot at it, and you know, it's something that people gotta live with for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
With painting, I could just paint that over. If I
Mm-hmm.
mess it up, I paint it over.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, it really it's never a mistake. It's just a different way to go about it.
True.
But you
So
think?
if I mess it up,
Oh, go ahead.
uh,
Sorry.
I was not, well. If I mess it up, I just stay back, look at it, and see how if I could utilize that and make it look better, or just buff it and start over.
But you do think your background as a tattooist is helping you become an even better muralist?
Almost definitely, you know, it definitely has a huge influence on what I do, on the artwork itself, the line work, the shading, all of that comes together. You know,
And
I
what?
I kind of see it like, you know, I don't know if you guys ever played the old Pokemon games when
Yeah.
you had the attack and the defense and stuff like that, and you gotta do it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I see my life, my skills.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know, every skill that I learn, it just adds on to it, and
Mm-hmm.
like all the painting and the drawing. When I paint and I draw, it adds on to my tattooing, and when I tattoo it, it adds on to my painting.
Hell yeah. And what originally got you to start tattooing?
Tattooing itself.
Mm.
I grew up kind of watching the original tattoo shows on like TLC and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. So I like that, you know. And then I remember it was like the 2 days after my 14th birthday. I went to school and one of my homeboys, he had like his girlfriend's tattoo right here on his neck. I was like, bro, what you get that at? You know, he told the homeboy down the street. So I thought I got some money in my pocket. It was just my birthday.
Yeah.
Take me.
Damn.
So we did school. We went down to
We did
homeboy's house, like his room in the middle of like the hood. You know, I grew up in Linda Vista, so it was right there.
Yeah.
And I told him, hey, I want to get tattooed. He's like, what do you want? I want my last name on my back, which is Angeles. And he's like, all right,
Wow.
you got it. So we went onto his room, and I watched him set up. I watched him draw, and when he put the stencil on me, the moment that needle hit my back, that was it, dude. There was no doubt in my mind that was it for me.
And then what's the next step to basically you've been doing that full time ever since? Like for about how long have you been full time tattooing?
Full time about 8 years. I apprenticed for a total of 3 years.
Wow.
All meanwhile, I had regular jobs. You know, I worked as a busboy, as a washer, as a cashier. Every single position in the food industry, I did it through all those times. You know, from since I was 14 years old until I was 22 years old, and then that's when I transitioned completely into tattooing. I left all my jobs. I quit everything, and I just focus on tattoo.
That's freaking awesome. Was there like a specific time where you were like, because obviously your whole entire journey of like apprenticing and all that, like you did it for 3 years. So obviously you were like super, super committed. And like now you've been tattooing for 8. Was there like a specific time where you were like, yeah, I'm going to do this for as a career, as you know? And how did your family feel about that? Like, did you have like a lot of like support from your family? Because I know that a lot of tattoo artists, you know, they're doing it and then, you know, their parents are like, how are you going to make money being a tattoo artist, or how are you going to provide? Or did you have like something where there was like a lot of support, or how was that for you?
Well, I mean, since that moment, since the day that I got my first tattoo, I knew it. There was no doubt.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. I had no vision. That was my goal, and that's what I was shooting for. So I did it. When it comes to support, I mean, at 15 years old, I bought my first tattoo kit. I was already working, so one of my friends, he had a credit card. I gave him the money. He ordered it for me. I took it home. 2 days later, it was in the trash.
Oh
You know,
shit.
I came home from school. My mom had thrown it away.
Oh
And
shit.
she was like, "You're not gonna do this. This is not for you. You got to go to school." And as a parent now, I understand because
Yeah.
we come from. I was born and raised in Mexico, and so my mom she reached the 6th grade, and then she quit and she started working for the family to help out
Yeah.
her family. So her goal to bring me here was for me to study and go to school and educate myself. But I found my passion and I
Yeah.
found my goal, and I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. I feel
I went
like
for it.
Hell yeah.
I feel like we have like similar kind of things where it's like, you know, my mom and my dad, they were both, you know, they came here as immigrants, and you know, they were like, "Oh, I made the sacrifice so you could have a career and this and that." And so going into like that creative path, I feel like it's a little, you know, as like someone where it's like their parents came and they did this big sacrifice, they're kind of like, we wish you would have had, like, you would have became a doctor or a lawyer, you know? And so it's a little, you know, now being a parent, I kind of like see it and I'm like, okay, like I understand it, you know, how my parents saw it as like, okay, we made the sacrifice and you have like all these opportunities. Why did you decide to have that? You know, why did you decide to go into a creative field? Have you always had that like now with your kids where you would you encourage like a creative field, or would you be more like open to like whatever they decided they wanted to do?
I got a whole lot of support from my dad.
Yeah.
Their thing was finish high school, dude. I finished high school. I graduated with like a 2.4. I barely made it, but I made it. And so once I was done, he asked me, "What do you want to do now?" And I told him I want to go be a tattoo artist. So he told me, "How do we get started?" And so ever since, he took me everywhere and he supported me, and he took me from shop to shop to shop to shop until I got myself an apprenticeship. Once I got in the
Wow.
apprenticeship, he took me to the shop and he picked me up from the shop, and he was always there. He's always pushing, 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 pushing. Do it, do it, do it. So as a parent, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, I like definitely being an artist influences my kids a lot. You know,
Yeah.
they got sketchbooks and they got paint. They're drawing all the time. They're painting all the time. So, but I'm not pushing it on them.
Yeah.
I'm letting them choose to do it. If they want to do it, awesome, great. I'm pushing you. You're gonna do it. I'm gonna help you out, and we're gonna try to do the best you can. And but if they choose to do something else, then cool, let's do it too.
Yeah.
How
Mm-hmm.
can we help? How
Mm-hmm.
can we do? You know, so I think that's like more encouraging and better for them
True.
to. I figured you gotta find your passion. You gotta find the thing you like to be happy.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and it's not an easy path, but if you want it, you get it.
And you
Con
said
ganas se puede.
in the
True.
beginning you had different side jobs when you were tattooing and stuff like that. But what got you to the point where you were like, I'm going to do tattooing full time without any side jobs or side hustles or anything like that?
Um, I was once I did the apprenticeship thing. I was working up in Oceanside, so I had to drive from Claremont to Oceanside every day, and that just wasn't working for me.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up just stopping the shop and just tattooing at home while keeping my other jobs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, one day I was tattooing. I got a call from a client, and she tells me like, "Dude, are you still trying to get back into the shop?" I say yes. All right. Well, there's this guy right now. He's doing my hair, and he's looking for a tattoo artist. So she introduced me to that guy, and it just so happens that that same morning I was on Craigslist looking for tattoo shop opportunities, and I messaged that same guy.
Oh, shit.
So it was just like meant to happen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I spoke it into existence again. I was telling my
Mm-hmm.
clients, I want to get back into a shop. I got to get back into it. This is, to me, is the right way to do it. You know,
Yeah.
I was trained to do it in a professional setting and all of that. So being at home was a little offset for what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
The real respect and the credibility comes with the shop name. You
Yeah.
know, with the professionalism of it. So I went to meet up with that guy, and he's like, "When can you get started?" I start Monday. Let's do it.
And you've been there ever since?
So I had to pay rent. I got lucky, and I was able to find a spot where there's a booth rent.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So I was paying booth rent to be there every day, but I wasn't being there every day because I was still keeping my regular job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because regardless, that regular job provided my rent.
Mm-hmm.
It provided. I already had a son, so it provided the things that I needed for my son.
Mm-hmm.
Tattooing was still like a growing process.
Yeah.
So eventually, I got tired of having that job, and I said, "Fuck it. I'm already paying for the whole week here. I'm already paying for the whole month here. Might as well just spend the whole month here."
But was it
True.
like a quick
And
decision
I
one day to the next? You're like, fuck it. I'm not going to the job anymore. Was it like just a quick decision? Like you were like, all right, whatever. I'm not going to that job anymore. I'm tattooing full time. That's it. Or was it more of a thought out?
Kind of, I had to, certain things had to fall in place for me to just go and do that. I
Mm-hmm.
needed that job security. I
Mm-hmm.
needed that amount of money to be set so that at one time I was very, very broke,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to go steal fucking toilet paper from Smart and Final.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I promised myself I would never go back to that same situation.
Yeah.
So before I did that jump, I make sure I was secure. I make sure that I had that job, continue the consistency of work.
Because you had a family at that time too,
Yeah.
right? It's not just you, right? You also had to think about your family.
I just had my son.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just you.
It was
Okay.
just me and him.
Okay. Cool.
What's
So, like,
next for you? Like
Yes.
what do you want to do? Like what
right now,
Yeah, like what's next? Like what do you want to like do? Like what's one of your goals? Like what do you speaking into existence these days?
I want to be in the history books.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. I want my grandkids to read about me.
Yeah.
To find me in the book and be like, that's my great grandfather right there. That's my goal, to leave my mark like that. I don't want to be like famous and all that stuff. I don't like that. I don't care for none of that stuff. I just want to be. I want to leave a mark, and I want to be able to show people what it was, and try to keep a message. Right now, I'm really big into cultura and the Mexicas and the whole history of our people and where it comes from. I come from Mexico City,
Yeah.
so I come straight from like Tenochtitlan. I was born and raised in Tenochtitlan.
Mm-hmm.
So I, I try to show people like, hey, this is what we did. This is what we went through. My parents didn't have this information and this knowledge available to them because it wasn't. Now I have it on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I try to like push it and show. I show my kids about it, like, hey, read this. Hey, did you know we did this? This is what happened to us, to our people. This is where we come from. And so that's my idea and my goal is just to kind of help spread that out and show everyone else.
Have you ever brought your kids along with you when you're painting a mural?
All the time. Yeah.
Right?
So
Weren't
cool.
you when you painted this one, right? I think I saw you out there painting, but you might have had your kid with you.
Yeah, I had my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
She was doing the fills for me.
Super
That's
cool.
so cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I take them with me every time I can. Everywhere I go, like, they paint, they love it.
That's
They
such
like
a
to
good
be
bonding
involved with-
experience.
And where's the next
Yeah.
mural?
Oh.
Because I think we have to, me and Claudia, we still have to check out
Yeah.
one. There's one on El Cajon that was recently finished of a dragon that we haven't seen yet, that I know that today or tomorrow we're going to go scope it out. But where's the,
Sick. I'll be at the shop. I say hi. It's like right across the street from my shop.
Oh,
perfect.
shut up. That's so cool. Okay.
And what's the name of the shop?
It's called Beauty and Paint.
What was
We're
it?
inside level 1 barbershop. So it's half barbershop, half tattoo shop.
Okay, perfect.
And it's Beauty in Pain, right?
Yeah.
Beauty and
Awesome.
Pain.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're really excited because as soon as we saw like that mural going up, we were like super intrigued and we're like, oh my God, that looks so good. Like there's so much color. Like I love that about our culture is like all the color that we have, like everything's so bright. Like I feel like I'm constantly inspired by color. So when I see a mural like that, I'm like, wow, those colors, how you mesh them really well together. And just like I could totally like, because we saw your other mural on Commercial, right?
Yeah, Commercial Street, right down the road.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and you have like a style, and I was like, this is super cool. Like I really enjoyed them. And so we're just really excited to like, have you on the podcast and then go and seeing the other one and just following your journey as like an artist. And, we were really intrigued by like just getting to see the mural and that you did it very quickly. I was like, damn, he's fucking good, So yeah, we were like, yeah.
Spray paint makes it easy.
Yeah.
I use everything's been with spray paint, and it's just easy to cover things really quick, real fast. I think it took me about 10 hours to knock that one out.
Wow.
And it was in 2 sessions. I did the girl first and the whole background, and then I came back and I added the Jaguar Warrior. And right there, that writing, I did that. That means that's Nahuatl. And it means when you move, the pad shows itself.
Oh,
Wow.
shit. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm also trying to learn like Nahuatl and stuff. I'm
That's
trying to
freaking
really
awesome.
come
I love
with
that.
the roots. And
I
like
love
the
that.
idea of this, the Garo de Mictlán, Mictlantecutli, and his wife, who is the Katrina, they created the hummingbird as a gift for the Mexicas, as a gift for humanity.
Wow.
And they used them to send messages from the dead to the living.
Wow.
That's why I have the hummingbird in the middle. And according to history, the primary recipients of the messages were the warriors.
The Warriors.
So
Hell
that's
yeah.
why I added the Jaguar Warrior there.
Oh,
And
fuck
he's
yeah.
in the heart as a sacrifice, as a like an offer.
Wow.
them.
Super cool. I love that there's like this whole story behind it. I didn't even know any of that. So yeah, I love that, you have like a whole explanation behind it and everything. And that even like now when I see it now, I'm like, whoa, like it has so much like power to it, So thank you for sharing that.
And do you choose those fluorescent
you.
colors purposely? Is that a part of your style, that kind of the bright fluorescent, almost psychedelic look?
Yeah, I liked it. So my main goal was to make that thing visible.
Mm-hmm. And it is.
Like,
Big time.
like, man, look at me, you know, like you stand on a corner across the street and then you can see it, you know, it's just like, whoa. Same thing with the one on by Uncle Show. My whole idea is make this thing bright. You can see it from the freeway. You can see it from the trolley as you pass by. That thing is gonna call your attention no matter what.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, because our front porch, when we're on our porch, we could see it clearly. And I can't tell you how many times in the morning when we do our morning weed session or whatever, like we get really, we just stare. We just stare into it. So it's fucking so dope to have it right there.
Yeah. And now with that meaning behind it, it just kind of like ties it in really well. And we're just kind of like, wow, you know, it's nice to have like that whole backstory behind it. So it makes us appreciate it even more in a totally different level, you know? So especially because it has like that whole story behind it where it's like, it's very educational to know that, you know? And I feel like I've been like on this journey where I'm like, who am I? Like, where did my parents come from? Where did my family come from? So being able to have like something like that where you are inspired by like ancestors and all that kind of stuff, it really like, you know, touches me to where I'm like, dude, I need to find out more of like who I am and where we came from, you know? So thanks for inspiring that.
Most definitely. I'm going through that same journey.
Yeah.
Same thing, like finding my roots. And it's interesting because that whole idea came, because I grew up here.
Yeah.
You know, and so the artists that were exposed to in school were the Europeans.
Yeah.
There's all white, you know? And as much as influence as they do in my art, I couldn't resonate with them.
Yeah.
We don't have the same style. So I went and I looked through my favorite artists, you know, like Mexican artists that I knew about. Usually I started with Frida Kahlo, you know, she's one of the most recognized artists. But then her husband, Diego Rivera, he went through the same journey. He was a very influential person in Europe. He hanged out with a lot of this art. But I read his biography, and he himself says, I didn't relate to these people. They were not my people. So that's when he started looking into pre-Hispanic art. And that's when he found himself and started to do all this. He started looking more into Jose Guadalupe Posada. You know, he started hanging out with cicados. And he created all of this journey, you know, all this art. So the moment I read that, I was like, man, who's Jose Guadalupe Posada? Who's Cicados? ¿Quién es este güey? And I started reading all the biographies. And when I read it, and I was just like, whoa, this is me. This is what I should be looking at.
That's
this is
so
where,
cool.
like, I can relate his journey with my journey. I was like, whoa, dude, like, you hanging out with this güeros. I'm hanging out with this güeros too. And we will have to go look back at our history, you know?
Yeah.
And find ourselves within that. So, like you said, when you're doing your sessions, I would do the same thing. I would go sit outside my house in my backyard and then just YouTube videos, like Mexica stories, like the legends, you know, like they have legends. You know how that book for dummies?
Yeah.
They have the same thing, like Mexicas for dummies. So all right, cool. Let me read this.
That's so awesome.
You know, it just simplifies it. It makes it easier to understand all the how everything that happened.
Yeah.
You know. So and then I mean in the middle of my session, it definitely enhances.
Right. So do you have a plan for the next mural?
Yes, I have one today actually.
Oh shit!
Right after we're done with this, I'm gonna head out over there. This one's over there off of Plaza Boulevard. And it's inside of a new opening up shoe store.
Wow!
Oh, shit.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, it happens. You know, like you gotta speak to these people. I saw the guy on Facebook Craigslist. He was promoting his business opening.
Yeah.
And I sent in the comments like, dude, your wall looks empty. Let me paint you a mural.
Hell yeah. So you came to him. You didn't wait for somebody to come to you.
Yeah, and a couple other people in there, like they backed me up. You know, I got support from all the clients, friends. They're like, yeah, this is the guy too. That's the guy you need.
Yeah.
In the morning when I woke up, I had a message from the owner. They're like, hey, I like your work. Come over. So when I talked to him and we talked about the idea and what he wanted, and that's what we're gonna make it happen today.
That's awesome.
And just to give him a little plug, what's the name of his shoe store that's opening soon?
Raw shop, raw
Okay.
style,
Raw
something
style.
like that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like he's Lao, Cambodian, and Vietnamese.
Super cool.
Wow.
So I'm doing a mixture of all those three people together.
That's awesome.
Can't wait
We're
to see
gonna
it.
do a Cambodian temple with the
Beautiful.
dragon holding the Vietnamese flag with the
Whoa.
Super
Cambodian three-headed. So that should be fun.
Hell
should be
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that's really cool. We can't wait to see that.
And then tomorrow I have another one.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
You're on a freaking roll.
I'm telling you, like I'm trying to do this as a living. You know, I'm trying
Yeah.
to.
Hell
I
yeah.
love tattooing itself. I don't think I'll ever quit tattooing. But if I could venture more into painting, I'll feel a lot more happy,
Yeah.
more better.
Well,
Stressed.
we're here for your whole entire journey. We obviously like want to support you and like, you know, like that journey and everything. So we're really excited that we got to meet you and came across like your mural and came across you and like who you are as a person. And, you know, we're just really grateful that you know, decided to be on the podcast. And, you know, we just really wanted to highlight you as an artist because obviously we feel like you're a super interesting person and super well-rounded. So we're going to keep following your journey. And, you know, we know that there's like a lot of really cool things that you're going to be doing. So, yeah.
Thank you. You know,
Yeah.
I am very grateful to be part of this. You know, I was happy when the invitation came. I've been following and I've been liking and I've been watching.
Yeah.
And it was just very exciting when I was like, yeah, I'm excited for this. This will be a good,
And the
a
crazy
good
thing,
I
you,
really appreciate the opportunity.
my bad, Dentlock, but you have a connection with one of the tattoo artists that we had on last time, right? Sky? Do you have some kind of connection with him too?
Yes, I do. I don't know if he actually remembers me because this is 12 years ago. You know, when
Damn.
when I was looking for my apprenticeship, I walked into his shop, and the shop that he was working at was over here, like a home boulevard, right hand of the N5 freeway.
Oh shit.
And you know, I came and showed him my work. I told him I want to be an apprentice. At the time, the owner of the shop wasn't there, but he told me to come back. And so the next day when I came back, Sky was still there, and the owner was there, but the owner was in the middle of a bag piece. So the owner came to talk to me, told me, like, hey, you wait for me. When I'm done work, I'll come talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up waiting over 8 hours,
Oh,
just sitting there.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually asked Sky for a piece of paper and some pencils, and I just started to draw. You know, try to kill the time since I was just gonna sit there. Like, this was the first closest thing to a possibility to making this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I had already gone to almost every shop in San Diego, trying to get it. So him telling me, hey, I'll give you the time of day to talk to you. I was like, I'm staying here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna wait, and I'm gonna get this.
That's
And
awesome.
so the guy comes out. His name is Mark. You know, shout out to Mark. He's a dope guy. Yeah. He sees my drawing. He asked me if I traced it. I told him, nah, I just copied it off the flash that you have right here.
Mm-hmm.
So he looked impressed with it. He says, I'll be right back. He goes to the back, comes back with a bunch of tracing paper, a traditional rose, and the word name. He hands it over to me. He tells me, come back when you have 100 of each. I came back the next morning before he opened shop.
He wasn't expecting
Go
that.
work like that. Yeah, definitely. My dad had to work at 9 o'clock in the morning, so he had to drop me off before that. So he dropped me off there, and then I just sat there doing all the drawings, because I was already done with his drawings.
Right.
And so when he showed up, he was like, dude, what are you doing here? I handed him the drawing. I was like, you told me to come back when I had 100 of each. So I did 200 drawings overnight,
Oh shit.
Wow.
which honestly was pretty easy. Because my mom had this like table with they had like a glass top.
Yeah.
So I grabbed the lamp and I put it under the glass top, and I just traced the same design over and over and over and over. Which is what he wanted me to do. You know, my guy read that shit.
Fuck yeah.
So he tells me like, oh, you know, I actually don't want an apprentice right now, but I know who does. Get in the truck, let's go. So he took me down the street over here. It was called Ink Pusher's Tattoo on Swift and University.
Mm-hmm.
He introduced me to this OG cat. His name is P. Large. Shout out to Pete. He gave me he introduced me to him. He looks at me and he's like, "So what's up, kid? When you want to get started?" And I said, "Today, right now." So he asked me to follow him to the back of the shop. He hands me a mop and a broom and says, "Get to work." And I was like, "Cool. I'm already been a dishwasher. I've been a busboy. This is nothing, dude. I clean the shop real quick." You know? My mom's a housekeeper. My mom's a housekeeper, so I had no summers.
Yeah.
I woke up at 5 in the morning, go, clean house in the night. So when he told me to clean the shop, I was like, all right, is that all you want me to do? You want me to clean the bathroom too? Okay. I'll do it. And that was like the beginning of my journey. Ever since then, I was Monday through Sunday, 10 to 10, every day at the shop.
Fuck yeah. But that was the beginning of the apprenticeship.
Yeah, and that's like true dedication. Like that's amazing work ethic. And I feel like a lot of people, they don't go through that, They just kind of expect like, oh, well, I'm talented, so I don't have to go through that. But it's like having to go through something like that obviously like makes like someone really appreciate like the work ethic, the dedication that you have for that shop, all that kind of stuff. So it speaks like volumes to like how much dedication you actually are putting into like something that you really want to do.
Yep, I wanted it. I really wanted it, and I had tunnel vision.
Yeah.
I saw my goal. I see where I was gonna go, and then I had to do whatever I had to do. Like I said, con ganas todo se puede.
Yeah, true.
Because you could have taken a week, you could have taken a couple of weeks to draw those 100. He didn't say you had to have it the next day. He probably wasn't even expecting you the next day. But the fact that you showed up and surprised the fuck out of him, he's like, jump in the truck. He's like, I'll take you myself. Yeah. He's like, because that really does prove that you have what it takes to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely what got him to be like, okay, dude, to take me seriously, Now, like in the position that I'm at, I can see why he did that and how it works to have an apprentice and be able to show someone else this craft, this love, because you gotta love this. You gotta like really be in it for the love of the art, and that's what it was. Like I didn't even know about the money. I didn't even know I was gonna be able to make any money. I didn't make any money for 3 years. I was the apprentice. I got scraps. I got $5 if I got lucky.
Yeah.
So I had to do it. At one point, I was like taking the little, the dimes and shit from my mom's penny cup so I could eat that day. Go buy myself a donut for $1.
Yeah.
Just keep going because I needed to be there. I needed to be at a shop every day, all day, and just try to soak in as much as I could.
That's true dedication.
It was good. I give a lot of props to Pete for starting me with that. Because he showed me a lot, and then he gave me history books on tattooing, and told me read this. So I was able to learn the beginning, the roots of this whole art movement. This is older than humanity. It's as old as humanity is.
Yeah.
So him showing me this and showing me the American part of it and the Asian part of it and all of it, it helped a lot.
100%.
There I was able to meet my other mentor. His name is Tony Lopez, and him and I clicked up, and he was the one that took me. We ended up having issues with the shop, so we parted ways, and I followed him, and he went from shop to shop to shop. At one point, I worked in downtown. I worked in El Cajon. I worked over there by Las Coaches. I worked in Park Boulevard, Oceanside, all thanks to this guy. He dragged me everywhere he went.
That's awesome.
That's what it was,
We'll be there at the next mural. We'll be following you, and we really, really appreciate it, Dent Lock. It was really great to have this conversation with you today.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
100%.
We'll see you soon.
My wife loves that jacket, though.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm very, very, very humbled by that. Hell yeah. Thank you. And like we said, like we're really excited to follow your journey, and we're going to keep following it and keep sharing it and just show a lot of love and support.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon, Denlock.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Stay safe.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
you
you
too.
Good luck to everything.
Thank you.
You
Thank
too.
you. You too.
All right. How are we looking on time? Copy and steal. Ooh.
Do you want to do a quick what's next?
Could we do like a quick what's next? Just we'll keep it very condensed. So here we are. We're at what's next.
Yeah.
The shortened version of it. We wanted to talk about.
Yeah. What's next?
What's next? What's
So,
next? Yeah.
We've been having a high-tech high student here. She's over there. She's being all weird and awkward. And
She's here right now, right?
Yeah, she's here right now. You don't have a camera over there, but, you know, she's here. But she's freaking awesome. She's really, like, inspired me. She's just an amazing 16-year-old. Like, I have never met a 16-year-old like that. So it's like she's amazing to have in the shop. But every time we have an intern or anything like that, like, we want to make sure that we're all growing together and we're growing together at the same kind of pace. It's not just about like one person or anything like that. It's like, let's create projects together. So we also had Ainara in the shop. She is Muksu Designs. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen us sharing a lot of her stuff. She's also
Ainara started as our intern.
As our intern, yeah. So she would come once a week, you know, she comes once a week and stuff like that. And I really wanted to make sure that we had like a project that we could all like work together and grow off of, like all of us together. So we will be having a studio tour. It's February 12th from 12 to 8. Every 30 minutes, we're going to be having a tour. And it's a collaboration between Muksu Design and Sew Loka.
And Muksu is Ainara, which was our intern, but now she's actually created her own brand.
She's created her own brand. And to me, it's like we do a lot of similar things. Like, she creates zipper pouches. She creates like tote bags. She does all that kind of stuff. And for me, we have a totally different style. She has a style. I have a style. And we are motivated by each other and we're inspired by each other.
But it's both sustainable fashion.
We're both sustainable fashion. And so, yeah, she's freaking awesome. Just how Mia is awesome. And so we will have a studio tour where we're going to basically, she's having half of the table where she's doing a deconstructed eyeglass case out of fabric scraps.
Okay.
And on my side, we're having a deconstructed zipper pouch and how it's made. So you'll be able to tour the studio. We want to bridge that gap between consumer and creator, how it's made. We want you to come in. We want you to get inspired. We want you to have questions. We want you to just basically come in and check it out and see how the studio works.
And the good thing is it's happening on February 12th, which is Valentine's Day weekend, which means there's going to be a bunch of stuff happening that day on the block.
Exactly. We will also be turning 9 years old.
On that day, too. So there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
But on the block specifically, Walk the Block, there's Love on Logan, which is like the Valentine's Day version. So basically, when you come for the studio tour, it's a short tour, but there's tons of stuff to do on the block while you're here, kind of thing.
Exactly. We're also having a partnership with the YLAI. I hope I said that right.
I don't know what it stands for, but it's an acronym.
Yes.
And it's funded by the State Department.
Exactly. And so we will be having a another business owner from Guatemala. They will be kind of like shadowing us, kind of like seeing how we conduct business, like what are we utilizing to like market ourselves, all that kind of stuff. And so we're seeing it more as a collaboration instead of an internship, because it's not an internship, but she is coming from Guatemala and she will be here in the studio for a month.
This summer.
So it's from June to July. So we're really excited to have her here because this is like two different cultures coming together, and we're just really excited to kind of like have this collaboration and to build this lifelong relationship, you know? And
it's different than other kind of how you would think of like an exchange, like somebody coming over here and everything like that, because the State Department pays for all of their housing. It pays for their funds and everything like that. They just have to look at Sew Loka like they have to be here 30, 40 hours a week.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. And then we have to kind of collaborate while they're here. Mm-hmm. And it's not like they have their own legitimate great business in Guatemala. Yeah. So we're not trying to teach them anything in per se. We're just showing them how we do it here. They're showing us how they do it, and we're trying to learn from each other.
Exactly. So it's more of a collaboration, which we're really excited for because her business is really interesting because they weave all these textiles. So I'm like really fascinated with that whole idea. So she also utilizes like some of the recycled textiles, all that kind of stuff. So we're really trying to mesh into something where we could collaborate when she's here to create something, you know, where we could obviously build off of and have this relationship that's going to continue in like 2 different countries. So we feel that it's an amazing opportunity for us. It's an amazing opportunity for her. We really want to basically show her like all these relationships that we have, and I love connecting people to other people, so this will be like a really good experience for all of us.
And we'll talk about it more as it comes. Basically, this is just a quick preview. We're running a little low on time. We want to fit in a couple of these what's next, but we'll definitely be talking about it more as time goes on. Cool. So we got everything out of the way. Do we talk about everything? We're still good on time.
Woohoo!
Life is good.
High
all
five
right.
me.
Was it a good show overall?
Yeah.
Right. All right, guys.